All right, so looks like we're going to be diving deep into invention today
Yeah, invention.
with Pagan Kennedy's Inventology.
Yeah, inventology.
From the YouTube summary we have.
Right, and going beyond like just the invention itself, but kind of like the spark, the minds behind it.
Yeah, and what was really interesting is that it kind of debunks that myth of like the lone genius struck by inspiration.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
It's not really like that.
It's not like a lightning bolt.
Yeah.
It's way more.
It's a process.
It's a process. It's messy.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like groundwork that goes into it.
Right. And actually collaboration too.
Collaboration, yeah.
Which you wouldn't necessarily think.
Yeah. And then there's this great story about the rolling suitcase.
Yeah.
Which kind of illustrates that perfectly.
So this was back in the 70s, and Bernard Sato was watching people move luggage at the airport, and bam, like inspiration strikes.
Okay, so he's watching like a baggage handler, just effortlessly moving these heavy suitcases.
Effortlessly, yeah, with a dolly. He's like, huh. So
Yeah.
I should put wheels on luggage.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
But his design was like not perfect.
It was.
Right.
Why was that?
Well, I mean, his perspective was kind of limited, right?
Oh.
He was coming at it as like a briefcase guy.
Right.
Not someone lugging giant suitcases.
Right.
So his version was kind of strange. It had the wheels on the long side, so it was super awkward to move.
It's like you're trying to like drag it sideways.
Yeah, kind of like a shopping cart on its side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then Robert Plath comes along.
Yeah. So he was a pilot.
A pilot.
And he lived and breathed like the struggle of hauling heavy luggage, every day. And he's like, wait a minute.
I know how to fix this.
I know how to fix this.
Yeah.
He puts the wheels on one edge.
Yeah.
Adds that like iconic retractable handle that we know and love today.
That's the solution.
Yeah.
Like you really need to experience the problem.
Right. To come up with like the best solution. And it reminds me of this whole concept of lead users.
Yeah.
That the video talks about.
Yeah. So Eric von Hippel, he coined that term.
Okay.
And he found that these lead users, they're not just thinking about the problem,
They're living it.
They're living it every day.
Yeah, they're driven by necessity.
And often they're so frustrated that they just decide to invent something themselves.
There's that great example on the video of the grad student who had to do this repetitive task, something like 20,000 times.
20,000 times.
Can you imagine?
I would have given up way before that.
I know. I would have been like, there's got to be a better way.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of lead users, right?
Yeah.
They find those better ways.
And it brings us to this other concept of negative spaces.
Yeah, negative spaces.
Which I thought was super interesting.
Yeah, so think of it as like a collaborative playground where ideas can flow freely,
Okay.
without patents or restrictions.
So it's like sharing knowledge?
Sharing knowledge, yeah, building on each other's work.
Okay, so like the internet.
The internet's a perfect example, yeah.
Like open source software.
Open source software, exactly.
Where everyone's just kind of like collaborating and improving upon the existing code.
Right. It's a collective effort.
Yeah, it's not just one person.
Yeah, it's not about the individual, it's about like the collective we.
Okay, so it's kind of like speeding up that process of innovation.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it gets into this whole thing about luck.
Yeah.
And the role of luck in invention.
Which is surprising.
I was surprised by that.
Yeah, I mean, it seems counterintuitive.
Yeah, because you think of inventors as being like brilliant minds.
Yeah, right.
But this psychologist, Richard Wiseman, he found that people who consider themselves lucky, they're just more observant.
They are.
They're more open to new experiences.
They notice things that other people might just miss.
Yeah, so they're kind of like stumbling upon these connections.
Right. They're making those connections that lead to those aha moments.
So it's not really about like winning the lottery or anything like that.
No, it's not about like random chance.
It's about being in tune with your surroundings.
Yeah, being present.
Yeah.
And noticing the details.
Yeah, and being curious.
And those little things can spark those big ideas.
Yeah, and the video mentions these super encounters.
Right.
These people who are always on the lookout for possibilities.
Right. They're like explorers. They're constantly searching for new things.
Yeah, so the more you explore,
the more you engage with the world,
the more likely you are to have that aha moment.
Exactly.
So maybe we can all kind of cultivate a little bit of that luck.
A little bit of luck.
Yeah.
By being present and curious.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then it gets into this other fascinating aspect, which is the whole, like, data-driven invention.
Yeah.
Which I think is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah. Bioinformatics.
Oh.
Let's dive in. It's like a whole new breed of inventors using these powerful algorithms, to sift through mountains of data.
Data, yeah, like research data, clinical trials, all that stuff.
So they're not like in the lab, like mixing chemicals or building things.
They're mining data.
They're mining data.
For those hidden gems.
Okay.
It's about connecting the dots, but on a massive scale.
Massive scale, yeah.
The video gives this great example of Atul Butte.
Okay.
He used this approach, and he discovered that a common antidepressant, imipramine, might actually be effective in fighting lung cancer.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So they're finding these connections that, like, traditional research would have missed.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and it's not just limited to medicine either.
Okay.
Bioinformatics is being applied to all sorts of fields.
Wow.
Material science engineering, even climate change research.
It's like you're seeing these patterns and possibilities that were always there.
Right. They were hidden in plain sight.
But you just needed that tool.
Right.
To see them.
So it's like having a super-powered research assistant.
It is.
That can analyze all this information and be like, hey,
check this out.
You should look over here.
This might be interesting.
And speaking of creating something out of nothing.
Yeah.
There's that fascinating story about Lawrence Herbert.
Oh, yeah. The creator of the Pantone matching system.
The universal color language.
The universal color language, yeah.
Like for printing and design and everything.
It's a big deal.
Huge.
And it all started because he saw a problem.
What was the problem?
The lack of a standardized way to communicate color.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Imagine trying to describe a specific shade of blue to someone over the phone.
Oh, gosh, yeah, that would be a nightmare.
Especially in printing and design where precision is key.
Absolutely.
You need to get the colors exactly right.
Yeah.
So Herbert was like, there has to be a better way.
Okay.
So he created this system.
A Pantone matching system?
Yeah.
And it just eliminates all that guesswork.
Eliminates the guesswork, ensures color consistency.
So it's like this essential tool now.
Yeah. It's amazing how he created something so essential from scratch.
Really? Yeah, out of necessity.
Out of necessity, driven by that need.
Yeah, it's a testament to that vision.
Right, and determination.
Yeah.
And this concept of creating something from nothing.
Yeah.
It extends beyond just physical inventions.
Yeah.
The video highlights this innovative fecal transplant therapy as another example.
Okay, that one definitely caught me off guard.
I know, right?
I was like, wait, what?
But it makes sense.
It does.
It's about finding solutions.
Okay.
In those unexpected places.
Unconventional.
Even if they seem a little unconventional at first.
A little bit, yeah.
Sometimes the most effective solutions come from those unlikely sources.
Yeah, you just have to be open to it.
Yeah.
So we've talked about familiarity, led users, data-driven discovery.
Right.
Luck, unconventional thinking. But what about predicting the future?
Yeah. Can inventors actually see what's coming next?
Is that possible?
The video uses this brilliant analogy from Wayne Gretzky.
Okay.
The hockey legend. He famously said, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. And successful inventors often have this same kind of foresight.
So they're not just solving current problems. They're like anticipating future needs.
Exactly.
And coming up with the solutions before we even realize we need them.
Yeah, like they're ahead of the curve.
That's impressive.
It is. The video points to Xerox as an example.
Okay, Xerox.
Back in the 1970s.
1970s, okay.
They predicted the rise of personal computers.
Wow.
Which seemed like a crazy idea at the time, but they saw the potential and they invested in the research.
Wow. So they helped shape the future of computing?
They did.
That's remarkable.
It is, but the video also acknowledges that forecasting isn't foolproof.
Right.
I mean, the future is full of surprises.
Yeah, you can't predict everything.
You can predict everything.
There are going to be some misses along the way.
Yeah, like Herman Kahn's study in the 1960s, some of his predictions were spot on.
Okay.
Others totally missed the mark.
Yeah, it's like trying to predict the weather.
It is. You can make educated guesses.
Yeah.
Based on patterns and trends.
Right.
But there are always those unexpected variables.
Those curveballs. Yeah, that throw things off.
But then you have these predictions like Moore's Law,
Yeah, Moore's law.
which states that computing power doubles roughly every 2 years.
Roughly every 2 years, and it's held true.
It's crazy.
It's become like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
So it's not just a prediction, it's like...
It's a driving
force.
Pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah, it's influencing the very thing it's predicting.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
So predicting the future may not be an exact science.
Right.
But it can definitely influence the direction of innovation.
It can. And that brings us to another mind-blowing aspect of invention.
Okay.
The power of the mind as a laboratory. Oh, wow. Now you've really got my attention. So we're talking about, like, using your mind as a laboratory.
Yeah, it might sound futuristic, but some of history's most brilliant minds have used this technique.
Okay.
Think Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
Is a prime example.
He was famous for being able to, like, visualize his inventions.
Yeah, in incredible detail.
Really see them.
It wasn't just idle daydreaming, though.
Okay.
He would go on these intense mental journeys.
Okay.
Where he would actually experience his inventions working.
Wow.
Before he ever even, like, sketched them out or built a prototype.
So he could, like, work out the kinks in his mind.
Yeah, in his mind.
That's incredible.
It's like having a built-in virtual reality system for inventions.
And the video mentions that Elon Musk is actually working on hand gesture design systems. That could make this kind of mental creation a reality for everyone.
I know, it's amazing.
So it's like technology is catching up to the power of our imagination.
It really is, and if you're wondering how to tap into this mental power...
Okay, yeah, how do we do it?
Inventology has some practical advice.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Pagan Kennedy suggests asking yourself very detailed questions about your idea.
Okay, so like really specific questions.
Yeah, let's say you're trying to invent a new type of movie camera.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
Now ask yourself, how does the camera work? What makes it unique?
Okay.
What does it feel like to hold it? What are the sounds it makes?
Okay.
The more detailed your mental picture, the more real your invention becomes.
It's like you're creating a blueprint with your mind.
Exactly. And this technique works for any creative endeavor.
Really?
Writing, composing, designing anything where you need to bring an idea to life.
That's powerful stuff.
It is.
Okay, so we've explored all these different facets of invention.
Yeah.
The importance of familiarity, the power of data,
right.
The mind's incredible ability to create.
And one of the most important takeaways from Inventology is the emphasis on diverse perspectives.
Oh, yeah. The video highlights John Harrison, the clockmaker.
Yeah.
Who solved the longitude problem?
Back in the 18th century.
That was a huge problem.
It was.
And he wasn't a sailor or a navigator?
Nope, he was a clockmaker.
But he was able to combine his expertise in timekeeping with the principles of navigation to create the marine chronometer.
It's amazing how he bridged those two seemingly separate disciplines.
Yeah, it's like thinking outside the box.
Yeah, cross-disciplinary thinking.
And then there's Adam Rivers, the marine biologist.
Yeah.
Who used his knowledge to improve beverage coloration.
Who would have thought?
So what does this all mean for someone listening to this deep dive?
Well, Inventology suggests that anyone, regardless of background or expertise, can contribute to the world of invention.
So it's not just about being a genius or working in a fancy lab.
It's about being curious, observant, and willing to question the status quo.
Yeah, just looking at things from a different angle.
Exactly, and connecting the dots in unexpected ways.
Yeah.
Seeing possibilities where others might see roadblocks.
And invention isn't always about creating something entirely new.
Right.
Sometimes it's about improving upon existing ideas.
Right.
Or finding new applications for old technologies.
Like the rolling suitcase.
Yeah.
Simple idea.
Revolutionize travel.
Exactly. So keep your eyes open, stay curious, and never stop asking, what if?
What if? Yeah.
You never know, the world might be waiting for your unique perspective on a challenge.
And maybe someday we'll be doing a deep dive on your invention.
That would be awesome.
Until then, keep that inventive spirit burning bright.
Yeah.
And keep diving deep into the world of ideas.